Alrighty, good evening, everyone. In the gym tonight, so hopefully this works all right. The internet can be a bit sketchy sometimes in this back corner. Um, so tonight, talking about injuries and injury prevention. Now, I'm not going to go super technical on all of this. I just want to talk some simple basics. They're things that people often don't think about. So 99% of the time when it comes to an injury, in my personal experience, now I'm not a physio, I'm not a chiro, anything like that. I'm a trainer and I'm speaking to you of my personal experiences and that of clients that I deal with still and in the past. Now, when it comes to injuries, 99% of the time, it's postural related. It's to do with something that you've been doing with your posture for the last 20, 30 years that you've been alive. Now, if you sit at your desk all day, you're typing away, how you're sitting, if you're leaning on one side while you're scrolling with your mouse in the other hand, those sorts of things compound over time. Your body gets used to that, it adapts to that, and then over years and years and years and years and years of repetition of sitting and not being active through the day and those sorts of things, it builds up to a point, and then you do some sort of quick movement, or you do a normal movement that you would do every other day, or you do an exercise that you've done 100,000 times, and it just goes bang, and all of a sudden your back's hurt or your hamstrings hurt or you've tweaked your neck or something like that. In my experience, a lot of the time, it's all due to postural behaviors and habits that you formed over the course of your life. How you stand, how you sit, how you drive, how you sit in the lounge at home, how you sleep at night. Like, your body gets used to the repetition of these habits and it adapts to that. And then what can happen over time, if you're not strengthening your body, if you're not using your body in a variety of different ways to keep an overall level of strength through your body, then chances are eventually like something's going to happen. You're going to get extra tightness in a certain area of your body that's overcompensating for something else. You're not going to notice that that's happening, and then eventually you're going to feel a pain in a different area because that pain is referring from the actual troubled spot. So, like, to kind of put it in perspective for you and give you a bit of a picture, um, imagine almost like a web of strings that sort of connect all your muscles together. When one thing starts to tighten, it pulls on other areas. So majority of the time, you might feel a localized source of pain in your back. Say you're behind your left shoulder blade. But what's actually going on is your hips are out of alignment because of the type of shoes you wear or how you're standing day to day. Like, and it kind of refers, and then eventually you get an area where you feel pain in your body and you go, oh, well, I've got pain, I need to do something about that, and you go see a physio or whatever and get that localized area of pain sorted out. But what can happen is that this professional that you seek help from may not, connect the dots here with what's actually going on. They might not go, well, hey, your hips are out of alignment, that's why you've got a sore back, that's why you've got a sore shoulder, and this is why it's connecting to your neck. Now, again, in my own experience, these are all things that I've dealt with and that I've learned through pain and a lot of my own research, and by speaking to other professionals that deal with these sorts of things. Um, Quite often, like, we're not aware of these sorts of things. Like, if you're sitting all day, your glutes and your hamstrings will start to tighten. If you're not doing any physical activity, they'll start to tighten. Now, as long as you don't step outside of what your current comfort zone is, you're not necessarily going to notice this. But if you all of a sudden go get a gym membership and start doing deadlifts, they're going to feel hard, and you're instantly going to feel it through your lower back because you're not used to activating your glutes. your hamstrings are tight, so they're not going to be working properly, and something needs to compensate, which is going to be your lower back. In rare instances, if people aren't being guided properly, that's where you can see some injuries directly from an exercise. But again, 99% of the time, the exercise, it unfortunately happens to be the straw that broke the camel's back and gets the bad rap for it. The amount of times that I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm not doing deadlifts anymore. Deadlifts hurt my back," or "Deadlifts hurt my hips," or something along those lines. If I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I'd be rich. But what they fail to take into account is what have they been doing and what haven't they been doing for the last 20 or 30 years in their general posture and their daily postural habits that's compounded over this time to that breaking point. And it's unfortunate that the exercise gets the bad rap for this. The person could be doing that exercise with good form, directed by a trainer. But if certain things aren't identified early, and sometimes you just don't know that they're there, that's where this injury can happen. So my way of thinking for, I guess, injury prevention is to teach clients and teach my members about their postural behaviors and habits. Now, this particular live is something that I've wanted to do for a bit, but it specifically stems from a member that I spoke to Monday, and deadlifting was the exercise that she felt some discomfort from. And so she did this. She did deadlifting last Wednesday, corrected her technique. She had some poor technique for a few reps, corrected that, and everything was hunky-dory. That was last Wednesday. Then I didn't see her Thursday and I didn't see her Friday. When I saw her Monday again, she told me that she's been in quite a bit of pain. After a lengthy talk, she was feeling a lot better on the Monday, certainly, and after a lengthy talk about her posture, I spoke to her about paying attention to what she does in her day-to-day. Just having a simple level of awareness about what you're doing in your day-to-day with your postural habits and your behaviors can make all the difference. Because if you can identify if you're doing something regularly that's contributing to your poor posture, then you're more likely to fix it than just let it go. Because ultimately everyone wants to have good posture, whether it's at the forefront of your mind or not. But if it's not in some degree at a level of awareness where you're aware that it's happening, you're not going to fix it. So step one is start now, when you're at home, when you're standing, when you're sitting, when you're cooking tea, when you're standing in the shower, when you're at work, when you're sitting, standing at work, walking around, all of those things. Pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because if you can identify any bad postural habits or behaviors there, then you can start to correct them, because they're the sorts of things that are going to set you up for injuries later. Now, it's not going to be a couple of days away. It's going to be years away. These sorts of things that if you can do everything you can do now, you're going to save yourself a lot of pain, time, and effort later. The next step from once you've identified these sorts of things is looking at what weaknesses you do have in your body. So if you're sitting all day and you're starting to get a sore lower back, and it's just a normal thing, you don't tend to worry about it, chances are you're going to have inactive glutes, or, just as an example. So identifying these sorts of things can help you find out which muscle groups that you need to work on, which muscle groups you need to practice just activating. Not only so you can activate them when you're doing an exercise, but this sort of postural engagement is something that you should be doing outside of the gym. I find that a lot of the time teach these things in a PT or a group session, and people start to get really good at it, they start nailing it, and then they go out and everything just stops. They forget. I had one client, unfortunately, we went through all of these things with her. I think she was early 50s. So she was still very capable, could walk and everything like that. She had no other outstanding health issues. She did have some ongoing trouble with a sore lower back, and we'd really made some great progress on this. I'm pretty sure I've spoken about it before. In her workouts, she was doing fantastic. We were able to do deadlifts again, and she was really happy with that. Goes home that night. Next day, she's taking the washing out of the washing machine, and because she leant down too fast, reached in and tried to pull the washing out in one go, she hurt her lower back. She wasn't controlling her body. So we've done all of this work to teach her about her postural behaviors and habits. And then she's gotten really good at doing this in the gym, in the place where we're practicing that. But in the place where she should be continuing that practice outside of the gym, she's just let it all go by the side. And then she's resulted in injuries and blamed it on deadlifting, funnily enough. Deadlifting often isn't the issue. It's you controlling your body and being aware of what you are and what you aren't doing with your body. Everything should be treated like an exercise. If you treat it like an exercise, you're going to decrease the likelihood of having an injury. But it's just good bloody practice. I was talking to another member today, actually. It seems to be the topic of the week. I can't even remember how the conversation came up, but nonetheless, we started talking about her using her glutes and just practicing engaging your glutes, just sitting there, tensing your glutes and relaxing, whether you're sitting, standing. Like, not only is that working your glutes, but that's you practicing engaging your glutes. So when you actually go to do something like squat to pick up your keys or squat to pick up the basket of washing, you're more likely to engage your glutes having practiced that stuff regularly than not. And you're going to save your lower back a lot of trouble along the way. So I do have a list of just simple things that you can start to do today, hopefully, that's going to help with this injury prevention and just being aware of your postural stuff. So first thing, injury prevention. Be aware of your posture. Be aware of the daily habits and behaviors of your posture over the course of the day. Like, you're not going to remember to, be on top of it all the time straight away, but just, every hour, just stop and just do a self-assessment. What have I been doing? How have I been leaning? How have I been standing? Be aware of your body. Be aware of what you're doing inside the gym and especially outside the gym, in every environment that you're in, at work, at home, at your mate's place, at your mum and dad's, at your girlfriend's, whatever, but be aware of it. Next is education. Either educate yourself or find a trainer that can educate you. Now, lucky for you guys, you've got me, and I've hurt myself enough that I can share these sorts of things with you and how to more or less fix them and prevent them. But educate yourself. Like, if you don't know something, learn about it. If you can learn about something before you put yourself in a position where you need to go get professional help to fix it, then that's only going to help you even more. But unfortunately, it takes an injury sometimes to really learn the correct way to do things. I guess that's just human nature. We learn by failure, which isn't such a bad thing, but we want to prevent these injuries. Next thing, when it comes to doing any sort of physical activity, do some sort of warm-up. All right? When you're doing a warm-up, you should be doing dynamic movements. That's any form of like arm swings or torso twisting or leg swings. That's a dynamic movement that's going to help loosen up your joints. There's a fluid in your joints called synovial fluid. You need to break these synovial fluid barriers so that your joints are lubricated, helps stimulate some blood flow to your muscles. That way they're getting ready to be used. Now, if you think about putting a rubber band in a freezer, leave it there overnight, pull it back out, try and stretch it, chances are it's going to snap. Now, apply that same methodology to your muscles. If you go and decide to do a 80 kilo back squat in the gym and you haven't warmed up at all, you're running a very high risk of hurting yourself because you haven't warmed up. Like, any sort of walk on the treadmill, get on the spin bike, use the cross trainer, warm your body up before you go and do any sort of physical activities. That is going to help reduce the likelihood of you injuring yourself. Next on the list is cross training. Now, I'm not cross training as in CrossFit. We'll talk about CrossFit later. I have different mixed feelings about that. But cross training means trying different things, like exposing your body to different styles of training, different exercises. So you might have a cardio day, you might have a strength day, you might have a conditioning day, different styles of training, different exercises in those styles of training is going to just provide a well-rounded, balanced strength to your whole body, like training upper body, training lower body, training arms, legs, training it all together in one go, specifically training and working on your core strength and stability, all of those sorts of things. Like, the more well-rounded your strength and stability can be through your body, again, the less chance of having any sort of injuries you're going to have, particularly outside the gym. Next, just be smart. Don't do dumb shit. Like, if you're not sure, ask someone. Like, I'm all for you challenging yourself. I challenge myself as well. But sometimes if you're not sure, then get some help. Ask someone to spot you, or ask someone to watch you while you're doing it, so that they can give you some active feedback, just in case you're not engaging your body properly, because you can't always see what's going on. It can feel pretty good, you think, but someone looking from the outside objectively might have a different story. So be smart with your training. Furthermore, on being smart with it, like if you've got muscle weaknesses in certain areas, work on them, strengthen them, do what you need to do to sort that shit out. That way you don't have to worry about it later. Use proper equipment. Like, if you're new to training, then it's not often the smartest idea to go jump on the free weights. Like, use equipment that matches your experience level. Like, I guess that kind of melds with be smart with your training. Like, if you're not sure of something, get someone to teach you. Get some education on it. Get a trainer. Stretching. So post-workout, you might not always have the time to do a stretch like immediately, but it's one of the things that doesn't get made a priority, and it should be a priority. Whether you leave the gym, go home, and then do a stretch, or you do a stretch while you're at the gym, it takes 5 or 10 minutes. But whatever areas of your body you've been working on, some form of stretching and mobility is really going to not only help reduce injury, the likelihood of having an injury, but it's also going to help stimulate the growth of the muscles that you've been working on, and it's going to help your general mobility, which is going to help you do better at your exercises. You trying to do an exercise with tight muscles versus trying to do an exercise with not so tight muscles. Like, there's obviously going to be a difference. So regular stretching, regular foam rolling, using massage balls, even getting a massage, like those sorts of things, just to keep your muscles in good condition. It's like maintenance. Like, healthy muscles, stretching your muscles, like that all helps promote muscle growth as well. Diet and hydration. Like, good diet. Like, it doesn't need to be crazy like chicken rice broccoli sort of thing, but eat a healthy, well balanced diet. Those of you that have done the Real Life program, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And when it comes to hydration, generally you should be aiming for around sort of 3 liters a day. All right, that's definitely going to keep you hydrated. Some days you'll have more, some days you'll have less, but easy way to gauge if you're hydrated or not is by the color of your pee. If your pee's clear, then you are well and truly hydrated. If it's got a bit of a yellow, you're still hydrated, but you could use a glass of water. If it's thick yellow, then yeah, you need a Gatorade. 3 more points here. So do strength training. I'm talking to you female clients. Now, all of you that do work with me, you do strength training, and I hope you understand the benefits of that. You should. You're not going to get bulky. Let me just clear that up. You're not going to get bulky. The benefits of strength training in injury prevention are monumental. Like, if you have a strong body, you're a lot less likely to hurt yourself in any sort of day-to-day activity or any other sort of exercise, particularly as you do get older. Like, the stronger you can make your body overall, and the best that you can maintain that for the longevity of your life and the quality of your life, you're only going to benefit from that. So be strong, do strength training, lift weights. Boys and girls. Girls, you're not going to get bulky. That is just not possible. Like, unless you go and smash weights and you're purposefully training for that, even then it's really not going to happen. Like, you're just going to lean up and look the way that you want to look, or at least the way you think you want to look. Otherwise, you've got to go down the road of steroid use and all that sort of stuff. And that's expensive. Don't do that. Second off, like, listen to your body. Some days you do just need to rest. So listen to your body. Now, there's a difference between listening to your body and letting your mind dictate if you're going to be lazy or not. All right, but if you need to rest, have a rest day. It is okay. Just go for a walk or go through the motions of doing your workout. Don't, push yourself through your weights, but just do the maintenance level of that. Some days you need that, and that's okay. All right. Lastly, see a professional. Like if you've got an injury, if you've got a sore neck, if you've got a sore back, hips, or a muscle somewhere that's always tight, go see a physio, go see a chiro, go see an osteopath. See someone and get it sorted out. Don't just keep putting it off, because that's detrimental to your training, and that's only going to put you at more risk of an actual injury. So personally, I see an osteopath, and I'll be the first one to tell you that I stopped. She went on maternity leave, and I didn't see another professional for 2 years. Shame on me, because I'm paying for it and I'm refixing what I've already had to fix. So it's not time wasted, but it's lessons learned. So see a massage therapist, see a physio, see a chiro. My personal preference is an osteopath, and it's just general maintenance on your body. Like the better form and shape you're in, the better quality of life you're going to have, and the better version of you that you are means that other people are going to get that better version as well. So take care of yourself, do everything you possibly can to avoid injuries, and you'll be all good. Anyway, guys, have a great night, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.